This is the training video for all content writers for Team Alpha. This is basically going to explain to you how to read your research document that you receive in the morning. Now, attached here is the first research document, and we're going to walk through and explain exactly what it is that you are required to do and what you actually, so you can read exactly how to utilize this research. Okay, initially here what you're going to get is a series of order numbers. These order numbers are going to have instructions attached to them. So for this particular order number here, which is 719115551, you're going to have the dictation here to write two 400 plus word articles. Whether you might say Buzzle, or you might say LSI, or you might say Ezine or Squidoo, that doesn't really matter. What actually is important is the number of articles you are required to write and the number of words that are supposed to be in each of them. Now, once you get your research document, you will have a small notation here from the client, and the client basically tells you what he wants the article to be titled, the keyword that he would like to be used in the article, and of course the anchor text. The anchor text here actually is a reference URL, and that is used by the researcher more than the writer. What is important here is the title and the keyword. Now, in this particular situation here, for this specific order, you would have 719115551. This specifically is talking about New York Physical Rehab. Now, if you are going to write an article on New York Physical Rehab, it's very likely that you won't find any documentation or research that specifically speaks to rehabilitation in the state of New York or the city of New York. Either which way, it's going to be pretty difficult for the researcher to find something that will work. So what the researcher will do is provide you with general information, right? So in this particular situation here, the first article titled New York Physical Rehab, the keyword is New York Physical Rehab, and the article that you find here that has been researched won't speak directly to New York. What it will have is just information about physical rehab, specifically in the US. It is up to the writer now to take this article, spin it, and then to vaguely include information about New York, which would make it seem that the article is about New York physical rehab. So in a situation like this where you have NovaCare Rehab Center is one of the leading providers of physical and occupational therapy with qualified and talented therapists and staff ready to help and assist patients with physical difficulties. What you possibly would be required to do here is to change this into another company, and possibly you can utilize what the client has here, which is manhattanpainrelief.com. So you also want to bear in mind, while the URL might not be specific and important to you per se, this basically tells you the website that he's actually promoting. So you wouldn't want to include anything that says NovaCare Rehab Center. You possibly want to include something that says Manhattan Pain Relief. So it remains specific to what the client wants. Similarly, in a general article here, which when I say general, is not as location specific as the primary article or the first article, where it says physical rehab equipment. The second bit of research found in Article 2 research here would be much more general and hence much easier to rewrite. So you wouldn't have to be sticking in anything in terms of trying to get it localized per se. A lot of the time, the information that comes in this is made a bit longer than the required words. While at times when you look on it, it might seem intimidating, the reality is that it's easier for you to summarize what you are doing when it's a bit longer than actually adding content to it. Um, Hence, you would probably be putting in fluff words into the article, whereas here you have more than enough, and you can just go ahead and summarize what you're summarizing and complete the article. Now, when you're sending over the article, what we're going to ask you to do is that you ensure that you keep and include the order number here, which says order here, the amount of words, exactly what is said here, right? Including this information. So when you are submitting the article back to us, you just copy all of this information here, you paste it in a Microsoft Word document, and you add both articles below as per usual. So you would copy all this information here and then move on. Now, there are different types of articles that are you're asked to write. There are ClickBank reviews, there are normal blog posts, there are general latent semantic indexing articles, and easy and optimized articles. Now, none of them really matter with the exception of a ClickBank review. 90% of the time, the client who asks for a ClickBank review wants a positive review on the particular product from ClickBank, or just a general review, if does it work, does it not work, etc., etc. In the case here, we have a specific ClickBank review that the client is actually asking for a particular website, which is actually I think it is supposed to be getfriday.com, which is actually a virtual assistant website. And, no, and from time to time, they give you a bit of dictation, put in this keyword, put in that keyword. I don't include that because I want my writers to move quickly and to include what they need to include to ensure the article specifically passes Copyscape. This is the most important thing. Nothing else is more fundamental than your article passing Copyscape, and that's the primary thing to ensure that that is done. So basically, when someone asks for a review here, you work with the research that you've been given, go through and take it from there. There might be a case with a ClickBank review that a review is given in the research for a similar product. So that product could be plastic bags, John plastic bags, and the next product could be Mary's plastic bags. But we just can't find anything that fits Mary's plastic bag. So what we did was to take the review on John's plastic bags, and then we're asking our writer to just juxtapose, to just put in information from Mary and ensure that it remains, that there's integrity in it, because you'll have the website for Mary's plastic bags. So you can actually look on it and say, okay, well, is it similar? Is everything that John's plastic bags delivers? Is that what Mary's plastic bags delivers? That kind of little bit of needed intelligence is going to be required for that type or specific order from our client. So that is very, very, very important to remember. So we've touched on dealing with what your research document gives you, what the content writer is required to do, the different types of information that the writer will get, and we can move on from there. And so basically what you're going to be required to do is to go through this particular information here and pick out exactly what it is that you're going to do. You're going to be given a due gigs list, and your research is specific to you as the content writer. So you'd have to go through, and then for each particular order, you send that back in a batch via email to me, including the order number. So I'm going to give you a small example of what your email is to look like. Okay, so attached here is work coming in from other content writers. And as you can see, for this particular email here, Cheyenne sends in, she includes her order number here at the top. When I go ahead and click in here, I'm going to see here the date, today's date, and the first order. So when you're required, if you're required to do 8 orders per day, you would just save that file as April APR03, and this is your 8th order for the day, and you can put in the order number at the top so that when we're searching for it, we know specifically how to deal with that matter. As you can see here, Merle has sent in her 6 for the particular day. She, as we said before, English is not her primary language. So in terms of doing stuff like that, she doesn't really have to do that. But we ask all of our English rewriters to follow the particular way that Cheyenne does it. So if there are any questions that you need to ask, please liaise with Cheyenne or liaise with Carol or myself if you have any real difficulties. And someone will definitely be there to help you.